First tonight on News 3, a continued debate. What's next for the controversial Confederate monument at the Forest Hill Cemetery?
And we'll tell you about the unique finishing touches on the new Midtown Madison police station.
This is News 3 at 10.
Thanks for joining us tonight. The long-standing debate over whether to keep a Confederate monument standing is back at the center of discussion in Madison.
Our Keely Arthur was at the City of Madison meeting tonight, and shares of officials were finally able to make a decision. Keely?
Well, the answer is no, not at least until August, when the Landmarks Commission will meet again, deciding if the Confederate marker should stay, go, or stay with some sort of signage explaining the historical meaning of it.
The Landmarks Commission really doesn't have authority over every new gravestone or marker that comes to the cemetery.
It's more than a year since public debate over a Confederate marker inside the Forest Hill Cemetery began. But in that time, not much has changed. The monument still stands, and city leaders still discuss whether it should.
It's kicked the can down the road.
Thomas Garver gave his 2 cents on the matter at the latest meeting. He was one of 4 who spoke, all of whom were in favor of keeping the statue, which lists the names of 140 Confederate soldiers.
Most of these meetings seem to be people coming forth saying, keep it.
Back in April, City Council said don't keep it.
And I think of the countless numbers of slaves that were killed. There was no monument.
They voted for the removal of the monument, but the final decision is up to the Landmarks Commission, which, after an hour of discussion, decided not to decide until August.
To be continued.
For Garver,
this is a grave marker.
the decision is an easy one to make.
This is so different from the great Confederate monuments, Robert E. Lee on the horse, Stonewall Jackson with his sword.
Now, back in August, a smaller plaque was removed. There was more agreement on that plaque because that plaque had language that many said glorified the Confederate cause.
Keely Arthur in the newsroom tonight. Keely, thank you.
A cake shop on Madison's west side will be closed for a few days. A woman drove her car into the Vanilla Bean around 11:30 this morning. Firefighters are working to see if there's any structural damage to that building. A manager says the store will reopen once they do, in fact, know that it's safe. There are still significant safety concerns near the explosion site in Sun Prairie.
Officials giving us an update today, and they say police and the state fire marshals continue to investigate the circumstances surrounding the explosion. Police said on-site processing and evidence collection in the fenced-off area has been completed, and law enforcement have released the scene to the city's building inspector and public works director. They say as long as there are structural concerns, the area will continue to be blocked off.
And another great story about the support in the community ever since the explosion. A little boy will meet some of the Sun Prairie firefighters this week. Gavin Martin and his family helped raise more than $5,000 for the Sun Prairie Relief Fund through that lemonade stand in Lake Mills. The Martin family plans to drop their donation off on Wednesday night.
To weather now, there is a chance to get a glimpse of the northern lights tonight, but will it be clear enough to see them? Here's a live picture overlooking the beautiful Capitol downtown. Let's check in with meteorologist Dave Caulfield in the Weather Center now. Dave?
Well, the good news, Charlotte, is that we have cleared out pretty significantly from just a few hours ago. We lost that haze that we were seeing, and actually looks pretty nice right now at 70 degrees. A few clouds here and there in Madison. West-northwest wind at 3 miles per hour. That dew point in the mid-60s. Hopefully we can get some glimpses of the northern lights to spread southward into southern Wisconsin. Temperatures right now are in the 60s and 70s, so still pretty mild outside. Temperatures for dew points are in the mid-60s for the most part, so definitely muggy, and it will remain that way into tomorrow. Wind speeds not too bad out of the north and west at about 5 to 10 miles per hour if it isn't very calm outside. Day planner for tomorrow starting off in the 60s, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures should make it into the low to mid-80s for highs. Coming up, we'll talk about when the weather turns a little bit more unsettled in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. The White House is holding a special event today, the second annual Made in America Showcase, featuring products made in all 50 states.
Items like baseball bats, trucks, wiffle balls, clothing, foods, even an F-35 fighter jet, all on display inside and, of course, outside the White House. The products on display from Wisconsin to Pierce Manufacturing fire trucks made in Appleton and Jack Link's beef jerky from Minot.
The U.S. Senate has confirmed Robert Wilkie as the next Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Wilkie was confirmed by a vote of 86-9 today. He was announced as President Trump's pick for the post in May after his previous nominee, Ronnie Jackson, withdrew his name amid allegations of improper behavior during his time as White House physician. Wednesday is the deadline to register to vote in the Wisconsin primary election. Voters will be asked to choose the Democratic candidate for governor and the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate. You can register by mail or you can register online at myvote.wi.gov.
There will soon be 2 new city council members as a pair of longtime alders step down within just weeks of one another. Tonight, the council executive committee interviewed a half-dozen applicants for the soon-to-be vacant District 19 position. Alder Mark Clear has held it for 11 years, but will be leaving this summer. Former council president Denise DeMarb also resigned last month.
It is unusual to have 2 council members leave within the space of a month. And obviously her decision and my decision have nothing to do with one another. It's just a coincidence. But it's a lot of institutional knowledge that's walking out the door. And it's tough for someone to come into that role on an appointment and serve for only a few months.
They will narrow the field and make a recommendation to the council sometime before August 7th, which is Mark Clear's final day. Crews are now examining the duck boat involved in the deadly accident near Branson last week. Taking about an hour and a half, it was brought to the surface of Table Rock Lake this morning. It has been sitting at the bottom since it capsized and sank last Thursday. 17 of the 31 people on board were killed.
And check out this video from Florida today. A building in Miami Beach collapsed, injuring 1 person this morning. Police said the building had a demolition permit, but not an implosion permit. Officials are now trying to figure out why the building collapsed. The UW wrestling team is continuing to mourn the loss of a teammate. Today, saying they are planning ways to honor Eli Stickley this upcoming season.
He meant so much to this program and to his teammates, and we want to continue to celebrate with his family. For now, I ask that you keep him and his family in your prayers.
Wrestling coach Chris Bono posted this video today on the UW Wrestling Twitter page. Stickley, who was 21 years old, died in a car crash earlier this month in Illinois. He was an academic All-American wrestler and an NCAA qualifier. Members of the Madison Police Department are remembering a little boy tonight. Dominic was buried with police honors today. He had dreams of becoming a police officer when he was older, often dressing as an officer for Halloween. He also got the chance to meet Madison Police Chief Mike Koval earlier this year. The chief thanked Dominic in his blog post today for reminding him and others on the department how to live a life worth living. Dominic passed away last week when his neighbor accidentally backed into him with a car. He was 5 years old.
Well, a Middleton art project is trying to tackle pollution in Dane County waterways. Local students have been helping to complete a storm drain mural in downtown Middleton. Organizers say many people don't know the storm drains go straight to our streams and lakes. They hope these murals can help educate and prevent future pollution. It is the first day of the 2018 EAA Air Venture in Oshkosh, almost in the books now. The theme is the Year of the Tanker, but also it's featuring one of the most notorious fighters in American history, the P-51 Mustang. The 7-day event will feature dozens of air shows, hundreds of attractions, and thousands of aircraft. More than 500,000 people from 80 countries are expected to visit this week.
If you are feeling lucky, tomorrow's Mega Millions drawing is already one of the biggest jackpots in the game's history. As of this afternoon, it is at $512 million, and it is likely to increase even more. The Mega Millions drawing isn't until 11 o'clock tomorrow night. And someone out there, get me a ticket, please, and thank you. Still to come tonight, an update on the construction of the new Midtown Police Station. Crews there installing a little something special.
When we come back, how they're going the extra mile to preserve the legacy of the church that the station is replacing on that ground. Stay with us. Welcome back. A calm, beautiful night in Madison. Nice start to the work week, but there are a few chances for rain in the coming days, and we'll have your complete forecast for the week ahead in just a few minutes. The new Midtown Madison Police Station at the intersection of Westmoreland and Mineral Point Road is about a month away now from completion, being built at the site of the old Mount Olive Lutheran Church.
Right now, construction crews are putting the finishing touches on, even going the extra mile to preserve an important part of the church. News 3 photojournalist Mark Schilling gives us a look at the restoration project.
Oh, there it goes. I had no idea if it was doable.
Takes time, a lot of time. I have never restored anything before. I'm just a hobbyist.
Captain Lingfeld said, "Hey, I heard you do stained glass. What do you think about this?" And I was like, "Never done anything like that. Let's give it a whirl and see what happens." But I'm not doing it without Cindy's help, was my caveat. So
my friend Kelly here volunteered me. Voluntold me?
In a way, yes, I did volunteer her, but from what Captain Langfeld described, it was worthy of the challenge.
It came to light that there's a lot more to it than just taking it out and putting it somewhere else.
Holy moly.
The lead gets brittle after time, and these are very old.
It had been, probably close to 60 years old.
They were rough. They were in rough shape. We knew that there'd be a lot of work, a learning curve, but we figured we'd be able to pull it off.
Oh, very good. I'm going to leave you guys to this. Everybody's comfortable?
Yep.
I don't know how we're going to get 18 windows done and start over, but we've gotten quicker over time. Phase 1 complete.
1, 2, 3.
This was an ideal location for our station that we needed. We talked with neighbors, and even the design of the building tried to incorporate some of the things that are in this neighborhood. For like the stone that we have on here, it's to match the entrance of Westmoreland. So we're trying to make this part of the community, and part of that is keeping the historical perspective of the neighborhood, which included the Mount Olive Church that was here for many, many years.
People would visit our church and say, "Are you the church with that big, beautiful stained glass window?" Yes, we are.
Yeah, the public would see it. Everybody would see that stained glass window. It stood out. It was pretty tall and wide right on the front of the church.
And we looked at it. We had some information that it's just so difficult. It would be very costly to move it. And then we didn't have a place for it here.
And we're glad to see that the city is putting it into the new building up there.
And we even believe at night when people drive by, they'll be able to see through the windows. They'll be seeing them lit up.
How cool is that, to preserve the legacy and the beauty of that window in another way?
I really like the concept of leaving some of the old church windows and stuff and incorporating that with the new, but also highlighting the talents of the department, because we're a really talented department.
It's definitely a challenge, but it's fun. It's good to learn new things.
It's like a new window. Do you want to see our finished product? We kind of said from the beginning that we wanted to make sure that we were educated enough to make sure that they were done right, you know, to stand the test of time.
I was thrilled at the idea. It's like the right thing to do, to preserve it in some way.
It's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding when you get to see where you started to where you ended.
Well, I'm hoping the community feels that this is their building, their police department, so that should only help in building a relationship with them.
I think people will be very pleased to see all the pieces, and it'll be kind of a hunt maybe for us to say, remember that was in this location, remember that wood, and, you know, time to reminisce.
Beautifully restored. Our photojournalist Mark Schilling put that story together for us. According to the city's latest update, the building has been topped out. It's weather tight now. The exterior openings have been completed and are secure.
The project is still on budget and on track for the police department to be operational in the building by late August.
We turn now to meteorologist Dave Caulfield, who gives us a look at the forecast to start the week. Really a beautiful summer night out there.
Yeah, speaking of some cool light going through and
yeah, tonight,
features like that, we could see the northern lights, at least some of us, possibly over the next couple of hours. A few clouds tonight, but that's about it. Get away from the city light pollution. That's number one. Look north and hope for a clear sky. Hopefully that moon doesn't obscure anything either. So we do have our camera in Platteville pointed north. So hopefully we can get some glimpses of the northern lights on this beautiful but slightly muggy night as well. Hopefully that doesn't do anything to obscure the northern lights either. I'm just having my fingers crossed. Never seen it. Hopefully I'll get to see it over the next couple of hours. Doppler track over the last couple of hours, I should say, has been quiet, and really any rain along that cold front going through Iowa really not causing too many concerns. As we zoom in, it's quiet across southern Wisconsin, even though that humidity is up. Not expecting any rain until we get into the later portions of Wednesday. Temperatures right now in the 60s and 70s across the area. We do have dew points in the mid to upper 60s, so that mugginess still with us, going to be with us for the next couple of days at least. Wind speed's not too bad out of the north and west at about 5 miles per hour. July temperatures so far really haven't been anything out of the ordinary, so to speak. We have had a few pretty warm days with temperatures in the 90s, but it's summer, folks. It should be hot most of the time. Monthly temperature departure of about 2 degrees above maybe where we should be for this time of year. But over the last week or so, temperatures have been pretty normal overall, and we're getting some more below average temperatures as we head into Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with temperatures in the 70s. Over the next couple of days, pretty typical summer weather. Then into Sunday and Monday, we get the 80s back again. Into the beginning of August, at least the Climate Prediction Center is saying much of the Midwest and the country's midsection looking at below average temperatures, and the unsettled weather that arrives later this week into the middle of this week looks to continue with us for much of the start of August. Overnight, mild and muggy with some clouds, temperatures in the mid 60s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, warm, and humid. Highs will make it into the low to mid 80s. Future track showing not too many clouds overnight. That is key. Remember, the next couple of hours until we get to about 2 a.m. or so, prime viewing hours for hopefully seeing the northern lights. Then as we head into tomorrow, not too many clouds, lots of sunshine. Temperatures will make it into the low to mid 80s. The clouds are on the increase on Wednesday, and so are our chances for showers and storms, especially later in the day on Wednesday. Some showers and thunderstorms could come our way with temperatures in the low 80s for highs. So let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. We can see those 70s greet us for the end of the work week this week. Then we're in the 80s, plenty of chances for showers and storms. So enjoy the sunshine over the next couple of days, because pretty unsettled weather comes back with us and really stays with us as we end the month of July. And even as we start August, there are some signs of some more thunderstorms as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Well, how did you spend your summer vacation? This guy went swimming with sharks without a cage.
Gosh.
That story coming up in sports.
Oh, boy.
News
It was all going so well for the Brewers, but now it's not. The latest bad news, starting pitcher Brent Suter is done for the year and maybe even longer. He has a torn ulnar collateral ligament in his pitching elbow. He'll have Tommy John surgery. He'll miss the rest of the season and probably more. Brewers playing the Washington Nationals tonight at Miller Park. How about Brewers starter Ulysse Shashin? He not only is in line for the win, but he also drive into his first run of the year with a base hit to left. It's in the ninth. Brewers 6, Nationals 1. Big Ten football media days have begun in Chicago. The Badgers will be on the podium tomorrow with head coach Paul Chryst and players T.J. Edwards, Dakota Dixon, and Michael Dieter. There's one new head football coach in the Big Ten this season. It's Nebraska's Scott Frost, who played for the Cornhuskers and is now charged with making Nebraska football great again. Their main target in the Big Ten West? Wisconsin. Frost wants the Huskers and Badgers to become great rivals.
Nebraska's had historic rivalries. But part of the reason that they might not have been as strong recently is Nebraska hasn't been what it should be. Rivalries are going to come when we're playing the way we should, and I think the people are back at Nebraska who are going to make it what it should be in the pantheon of college football again.
The Wisconsin Football Coaches Association released a proposal to dramatically change the conference structure for high school football in the near future. The proposal would move Janesville-Craig and Janesville-Parker out of the Big 8 and into the Badgers South, and Monroe and Edgewood into the Rock Valley Conference. Those moves could start as early as 2020. It's All-City Swimming and Diving Week. It starts today at Westside Swim Club with the All-City Diving Meet. Nothing like hanging out at the pool with the Park Crest Penguin at your side. Here's a look at the 13 and 14-year-old girls winner. High Point's Ava Riggins was second place at the end of the preliminaries, but in the 2-round final, Riggins put together a couple of great dives, and Ava Riggins is the winner of the 13 and 14-year-old girls division by less than 5 points over Ryan Wells of Shorewood. Also winning their age groups today, Seminoles' Ben Stitchen won his 5th consecutive All-City title. He also won the WIA state diving title. And Hawks Landing's Annika Rufnacht was the 11 and 12 girls winner. 11 and 12 boys winner, Jake Strobel of Edgewood. Aaron Rodgers can do whatever the heck he wants in the offseason. And tonight we saw one of the things he did this offseason, and that's swim with sharks about 30 miles off the coast of San Diego. On Discovery Channel's show called Monster Tag, Rodgers was in the water with sharks without being in a protective cage. What in the name of Brett Hundley is going on here? One of Rodgers' teammates says it's cool that his quarterback got to do that.
I was pretty excited about it. I love that he's living his life and really enjoying, his life and being able to do some of those things. I would have hopped in the water if I was with him.
Well, Rodgers with both arms intact, and the rest of the Packers, they'll report to St. Norbert College beginning tomorrow with the first training camp practice Thursday morning. He'll start swimming with real live NFL sharks, the first preseason game against the Tennessee Titans August 9th at Lambeau Field. We'll be right back.
It kind of ducks its
Dave's here with the final check of your forecast.
Pretty good visibility tonight for most of us. I know it's an outside chance of seeing the northern lights, but a chance nonetheless. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Tomorrow, temperatures will be in the mid-60s to start, then we'll make it into the low to mid-80s with plenty of sunshine. More unsettled weather visits us as we head into later on Wednesday, and that really stays with us into much of the weekend as well.
Good.
Thanks for joining us.
Have a great night. Do something good.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.